there are a lot of habits and a lot of things you can do to make yourself more likely to be successful in whatever field you may be in. And today, I really want to go over 5 things that made me successful in business to this day that don't really have any correlation to business in one way or another, but truly pushed me from a very early stage in developing myself and my businesses into becoming who I am today because they set the foundations for what and who I am today. If you don't know who I am, my name is Carter Positan. I'm a 21-year-old entrepreneur who has grown and scaled multiple businesses to past 6 figures in less than 3 years. And my goal here on YouTube is to be the person that I needed when I was 18. I strive to be exactly the mentor that I could have used when I was starting out in business and be the person that I really, really needed during that time to somebody else and provide value and teach to anybody that's willing to learn and listen. And not only be the person I needed when I was 18, but be the person that I needed last year, last month, last week, yesterday. I just want to be better each day, and even just repeating these lessons for myself helps solidify what I need to be doing each day to be successful. These are all things that I have learned and taught myself throughout the years and have pushed me to where I am today. So without further ado, here are 5 things that will help you become successful in business. And number 1, we have reading. And I have a whole video on why reading will make you successful, but I just want to go over it briefly here because there's a million ways that reading will help you, but one of the biggest ones is sometimes you just need someone to kick you in the ass. And I'm not talking about self-help books, but a lot of philosophy books, for instance, will completely change your outlook and your decision-making process when it comes to things because you don't understand how much willpower somebody has until you read about it. And a book that I really contribute and give power to when I say it saves my life, Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday. And now looking back at that book, it's very digestible. It's not as beneficial to me now as it was back then, but at the time, I never heard stories of people that could push themselves to where they did in that book. And people that practice stoicism go through life every day pushing themselves and not giving reactions to things that don't warrant it. And that book is the reason why I quit smoking. That book is the reason why I realized that I was capable of all these things because if so-and-so can do it, why can't I? And I think that change in perspective, if you're not constantly surrounded by winners every day of your life, reading can really put you into the perspective of somebody that wins. And not only that, but it puts you into a mindset of trying to learn and trying to understand different people's perspectives in different topics. And there's so many different things that I've taken away from reading because I read every single genre of book you can, from philosophy to psychology to finance to business to self-help, whatever it may be, whatever you choose. I do recommend going through every path you can, but all in all, reading in general, as long as it's nonfiction, and even some nonfiction books, are going to push you to be a better person every day of your life. And I cannot recommend it enough if you want to succeed in business because you need that perspective in order to grow, especially if you don't have it around you on a daily basis. Number 2 is going sober. And sobriety was something I battled with for a really long duration of my life. From 14 to 18, I was a pretty severe addict. And to this day, I still consider myself an alcoholic because if I start drinking again, I'm going to go down a hole. But the thing about sobriety is I've been now 13 months sober, and I went on very long spans of going sober throughout my years in business, and I gave myself little exceptions here and there to drink while traveling in order to better connect with people, for instance. But at the end of the day, I realized how negative anything along the lines that changes the way you think and takes you out of your head is to you in the long term. And I think people always say that you can balance things, and I do agree that there's balance. I think that taking things to an extreme is bad, and I think that people can balance it. But at the end of the day, when you're on the come up, sure, yeah, you might think that it's relieving stress, but it's not. And every morning that you wake up hungover, or every night that you go to bed with a nightcap, and every day that you smoke a joint after you finish your work is more time wasted. And I'm somebody that provides tough love, and the thing is I provided it to myself during these times. I think a lot of people fail to understand how much time they're missing out on and how much true brain activity they're giving up when they choose to do these things. And once again, I think balance is key. If you go once a month once a month, not every weekend, but once a month. I don't think that's a problem. For me, I honestly couldn't do it. For a lot of people, I think that's okay. But unfortunately, for the most part, people don't do that. People indulge, people overindulge, and going out every weekend is not going to make you the person you want to be. And maybe you want to be a promoter or something along those lines, but if you want to grow your business, I'm sorry, but that's 7 days a week. And I do agree in breaks, and I agree to allowing yourself time off. But in saying that, the clarity of mind that you get from going sober is like nothing else. And if you've never gone sober, I really would challenge you. I want to challenge you to go sober for 30 days. Don't go out on the weekends, okay? Just stay in for those weekends. Even if you want to go and do something with your friends, whatever. But don't drink. Just go sober for 30 days and look at how much more you get done and think about how much more clearly you are able to process everything going on. Because not only does it bring your stress down to here, it makes everything so much more manageable. But the clarity of mind you get and the better you feel each day, you don't even realize what your baseline is until you get back to it. And once most people start drinking on a consistent basis, they forget what that baseline is. So I really do encourage you to just try going sober. Just straight sobriety for at least 30 days, especially if you want to be successful in business, and see what you can do. And number 3, which is a little bit controversial, but isolation. And I think that once again, we have to bring balance back into the conversation when we're talking about isolation, because I've taken it to an extreme before where I don't see or talk to anybody for 120 days and you lose your mind. And I can't pretend you don't lose your mind. It will take away a lot. That is an extreme. I don't think it's good. But I think people are so people driven. And over my years in business, I've truly learned that community and connectivity with people, true emotion and relationships with people make you feel so much better, because I've been on a deep end of isolation. But with that being said, I also think that a lot of people have this inability to be alone with themselves. And if you want to be successful in any field, you need to get comfortable being alone. You don't need a friend to go to the gym with. You don't need a friend to run this business with. You don't need a friend to sit beside you while you work. And once again, human relation is good. You need it. But you also need time to self-reflect. And without isolating yourself every once in a while and saying no to opportunities and saying no to other people, in order to work on yourself, you are not going to grow, you're not going to get better, and you're not going to expand, because you need the isolation in order to work on yourself. And I think people avoid being alone because the second they're alone, they have to deal with those thoughts, and the stress comes back. But you really, and I cannot stress this enough, you need that time alone. Every time you get that stress, it's because the anxiety is weighing on you because you're not dealing with the things you need to deal with. So if you want to be successful in business, in these fields, then you truly need to isolate for periods of time. And once again, I'm not saying you need to never speak to anybody and do these 90 to 120 day monk modes I used to do, where I didn't talk to anybody, I didn't see anybody, I didn't socialize with anybody, and I had my phone on D&D, because those were some of the hardest times of my life. And I did it to myself. It's bad and it makes you parasocial. But with that being said, don't avoid being alone. Accept it, embrace it, work on yourself, and grow, because then the relations you have with other people are going to be better. And not only are the relationships going to be better, but your work is going to improve because of it, because you have a better understanding of yourself and how you function and how you work. Number 4 is journaling and self-documentation. Now, both of these work hand in hand, and I think they go with isolation in one way or another, because they allow you to reflect on yourself and look back on things. And I think when you journal every day, and I'll get into both, but I think journaling specifically every day allows you to be a person that you're not in front of other people. It allows you to put exactly how you're feeling into words without needing to say them out loud, because sometimes saying things out loud sucks. But being able to encapsulate those thoughts on paper allows you to truly think through things, understand how you're feeling better. And I think a lot of people will notice once they start journaling is, you might think like, oh, I don't have anything to write. But the second you start going down, the second that pen starts moving, all of a sudden you can't stop, because there's so much going through your head at all times. And until you take a second to stop and try to figure out what those things are going through your head, you don't get a chance to understand yourself properly. And it goes the same for self-documentation when I say it's really nice to look back and to have this, and this to me is self-documentation one way or another, because I get to look back on these videos and I get to show these to people at some point in my life, and I get to look back at the 21-year-old version of myself and see how much I've changed and how much I've grown since different times. And I've been documenting my life since I was 18, and watching those videos back, all I ever think is I wish I did more and more and more, because you want to watch your story, and it's so nice to look back at these videos of me breaking down as an 18-year-old and just praying to God that things would work out, and then being where I am today and being happy and so content with who I am and where I've put myself. Because the struggle is what you look back on more than anything. Those are the days that you look back on, and journaling and documenting is, once again, it's not only good for the clarity and the understanding of your emotions and how you feel during those moments, but it's also just so amazing to look back at and see how much you've grown. And in business, things move quick. And to watch yourself go from an inexperienced kid, pretty much, to the process of working your way up to the top to who you want to be and where you want to be is really amazing. And I think if you're not documenting your life, you really, really should be. And number 5, and the last habit or thing that made me successful in business is taking responsibility for myself. I think a lot of people, especially in this generation, and not just this generation, every generation, but more so in this generation because we've normalized it, take on the victim mentality. And a lot of people don't like this conversation because they're living in a victim mentality. It's poor me. It's nothing ever works out for me. It's nothing ever works. Oh my God, my life sucks. But they're not taking any action. And I haven't talked too much about my past on this channel yet, but up until 18, I had lived that way for so long where nothing works out for me. I'm fat, right? Because I used to be very overweight, and I used to be like, I'm fat. It's not like I can't believe everyone else gets to be skinny. But the second you take responsibility and you think, well, why don't I start eating better? Because fuck what everyone else is doing. Fuck what everyone else looks like. It's you, right? So it doesn't matter that Jimmy gets to eat 9 McDonald's burgers a day and his metabolism fades through. Fuck that, okay? Because he's got his own problems. If you take responsibility for yourself and you say, okay, I'm overweight, right? I want to lose this weight. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to work out. The second you take responsibility, there's no more problem, right? And people, like I said, people live in this victim mentality forever where they don't want to actually face their problems, so they take the pity card on themselves. And this leads to a never-ending battle of nothing. If you want to succeed in not only business, but anything, you need to take responsibility for yourself and your actions. Because I don't care how hard the work is. Don't do it then. Don't be successful. And like I said, I'm somebody that really, really pushes tough love. Because guess what? Life sucks. Life is tough. So the people that are winning because they took that and embraced it. The fact that, okay, life sucks, awesome, amazing, everything sucks. I want to live a spectacular life. So I'm going to do the work. I'm going to take the responsibility. I'm going to put in every hour that needs to be put in order to succeed in what I'm doing. I run 3 businesses. I have 4 YouTube channels. I travel the world, I make music, I do all these things constantly, and this is just I also skateboard constantly, I'm extremely good, I have my skydiving license, I climb mountains in my free time, I drive motorcycles, I skateboard, I surf, I snowboard, I do all these things, right? And everybody says they don't have the time, they don't have, it's too hard, there's a million excuses. But at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to live the life you want to live. And if you are not taking responsibility, you are not only letting yourself down, but you're letting down everyone around you, right? So I hate complainers. I hate people being in my ear saying that they're not good enough, or that, oh, well, it must be so nice to be fit or to look good or to do this. I didn't always look like this. I didn't always have this money. I didn't always live in this condo, right? It's not must be nice. It's I worked for this shit, and I took responsibility for my actions. I can't take responsibility for your actions, but if you want to win, if you want to succeed, you need to take responsibility for yourself, because nobody else is coming to save you. And the second you realize that nobody is coming to save you is the second you either sink or you swim. And there's a reason why everybody's sinking, because nobody wants to put in the work. Anyways, guys, that was 5 habits or things, I don't even know at this point, that made me successful in business and pushed me to be the person that I am today. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. And I really hope that somebody can take away something from these videos, because I enjoy doing them and I'm going to keep doing them. Because once again, I want to be that person that I needed when I was 18. And I really wish I had someone yelling at me at 18 to go take responsibility for myself. So if you took away from anything in this video, I'd appreciate a like, a comment. Let me know what videos you want to see. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And I will see you guys in the next video.